Welcome to tutorial number 3 about Harmonaut. All shown and used VSTs in this tutorial are freeware, and the addresses to download you find on our webpage or in the tutorials number 1 and 2. Okay, the first sound I've got in my mind today is a sound which comes quite full but dries out from the middle by rippling off into, let's say, glassy heights while still having a solid bassy foundation. Okay, the first condition, comes full, means high level values across the whole spectrum of harmonics. The second and third condition mean rather long attack of the higher frequencies, whereas the decay is quite short there. And the fourth condition means we need long decays with the low frequencies around the fundamental. Condition number 2 also means attack and decay need noticeable but rather short levels with the harmonics in the middle of the spectrum. Okay, let's load the resulting preset I have prepared. So, condition number 1, high levels across the whole spectrum. Then the attack getting longer to the higher frequencies. The higher the frequency, the higher the frequency of the harmonics, the longer the attack, and the other way around, the decay getting shorter over there. So let's listen and let's watch sonogram here and the spectrum analyzer. Just a single note at the beginning. And here you see it, especially in sonogram, quite well. So let's freeze it. Just listen once again and watch at first the signal analyzer, the development. Drying out from the middle. Okay, so you see coming full at the beginning. Only the very high frequencies are not there at the right at the beginning. Let's look at the attack. Here the very long attacks. Then drying out from the middle, drying out to the high, and drying out to the low, downwards and upwards, rippling off into heights here, because of the long attack here once again, and the high frequencies, and whereas the low frequencies remain until the end because of the long decay of the low frequencies. Let's listen to some chords. Okay, we can make this sound a little bit, let's say, sounding fuller, by dividing the whole spectrum into 2 parts. Let's get, here it is, the preset into 2 parts, both of them following the same principle. Decay going down, attack going up. By dividing the whole spectrum, the rest of the levels are the same, this whole spectrum into 2 parts, we get a middle line where the sound stays like at the very deep frequencies. Let's listen and look. Here we are. You see this middle line staying. Let's compare our first preset. And now the fuller sounding. Fuller because of this middle line. And we can multiply this system by dividing the whole spectrum into more than just 2 parts. Okay, let's do it. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, up to 8. Always the same system. Decay going down, attack going up. Let's look and listen. Oh, that's better. All right. Well, the sound I'm going to construct now is that of a bass made from canisters. I want the basic bass sound to tune in at the beginning of every note, a kind of transient oscillation, and I want the metallic aspect of the sound far away from the basic sound and not very intensive, but of course noticeable. Well, so I need the fundamental, of course, and I choose a sine wave to make the bass sound like an acoustic bass. To create the metallic aspects, I use two bands of frequencies. Both frequency bands should be quite high in the spectrum and mainly consist of odd-numbered harmonics to make it sound rather inharmonic. Well, so I've constructed this patch and let's go for it. Here it is, canister bass. Let's have a look. To make the metallic part sound even more inharmonic, I use three neighboring, here, there, three neighboring high frequencies, two of which are odd-numbered. Well, let's listen and watch. Okay, let's freeze it. Okay, you see here coming up these three frequencies and the single one here, and of course the fundamental, and the same here in sonogram, the fundamental, the single frequency here, and the three frequencies here, all four of them making up the metallic sound. Yeah, the tuning in effect I realize by a stepwise fall in decay. Let's have a look here. And to make playing the preset a little more interesting, there is a release. Let's have a look. Yeah, there is a release that comes into effect when playing short notes. So I'm playing legato now, and after legato, staccato, and so on. Legato, staccato, longer. Legato, staccato, legato, staccato. All right. The next bass sound should have an impression of, let's say, shimmering or scintillant glass, but with a static sound when played staccato. So, shimmering, scintillant glass and static when played staccato means, for the fundamental bass sound, I use once again a sine wave, and the glass sound is made up from 12 highest but neighboring harmonics. Let's at first load the sound. Hold and kick now. Shimmering glass, here it is, the level, here they are. So 12 neighboring high frequency harmonics. And the aspect of shimmering I achieve by setting decay and attack, as we already have seen, but in, let's say, in stripes. Attack and decay just the other way around. This makes the sound, the high end of the spectrum, very dynamic. Different decays and different attacks. And a little bit of chorus here. Phase depth, chorus here makes the rest, and well, let's listen and watch just. You see the dynamic over here. Here the middle part, the middle range, and the high over here. Okay, and now let's have a look at release, and you see, hey, it's completely different. The release, the fundamental, and only two of the high harmonics will stay when a note is played very short and staccato. So now I'm going to play at first legato and then staccato. Legato. And now staccato. And it's static. The release of both high fundamentals is equal. And they both are equal to the basic, to the fundamental. And played legato. Okay. The last bass we are going to construct today shall have an extraordinarily remarkable tuning in with a split sound to sustain. When played staccato, I want a rather typical acoustic bass sound. So extraordinary tuning in, split sound on sustain. When played staccato, acoustic bass. To simulate the tuning in, I need a lot of different harmonics, but only even ones to make the sound more uniform. So let's have a look at that. Is it? So levels, you see a lot of harmonics, only the even ones, and attack and decay as usual for the tuning in effect, you see, here. Okay, and the release page, let's have a look here. The release page shows what happens when played staccato. Once again, a static sound, not so high as we have seen in the example before. Well, at first, let's just listen. At first, legato. Long tuning in, a lot of levels to be tuned in. Now staccato. You see only these ones are to be heard. Oh God, time's up again, so visit our webpage, have a great time, and bye.